Good morning, everybody. My name is Paul K. Welcome to Saturday Mornings Outdoors. As promised last fall, when we saved tomato seeds and set them up for drying, it's planting time now in New England. It's about the second week in March, and it's time to start tomato seeds. So if you're interested in learning how to bring up the best tomato plants you ever grew in your life, stay tuned. I'm going to show you how. So it's pretty simple setup. You have to follow everything. I've learned this over decades and decades, and my father showed me how to do it from the beginning, and I'm gotten pretty good at it. So here we go. All these stuff can be got at any nursery anywhere. Walmart probably has them, and it's pretty basic stuff. So you need, these are called 6-packs. You need a tray to hold the 6-packs and a lid. This is called vermiculite or potting soil to plant the seeds in. So before we put these 6-packs in the tray, what I like to do is take a knife and make sure there's holes poked on the bottom of each one of these for good drainage of water. And just take the time to do that, otherwise the water backs up in there and the plants rot rather than grow. Next step is to lay your 6-packs in the black bottom tray, so when you water it and the water drains out, it catches the water. Next step is to fill the trays with vermiculite. And just kind of even it out. So you level off everything really good, and then they have little twigs in there. You want to pick those out because that ain't going to do you no good. And next step, what I like to do is water it in real good. Give it a good water, let it all sink in. And yes, I know I didn't plant the seeds yet. There's a method to my madness. Calm down there, gunpowder. And as you can see, it's sinking in pretty good, and once that's sunk in good enough, and that's pretty good water, then bring it inside and we'll get to planting. Alright, so we're indoors, and now my perlite, or the planting medium, is all wet, but it's drained, so it's moist and it kind of holds, it's almost like kind of mud. So I get a steak knife. You can use a chopstick, or they have professional ones. You don't need it. You need a stick. And professionally, they call it a dibble. And now what I do is I'll just put 2 holes in each single 6-pack, like that. Just what I'm doing. And what you're doing is you're creating a home to drop your seeds in. And the reason why I put 2 is that there's, when they grow and they start to be seedlings, you can pick the most healthy one, or you can just leave them both. You get 2 for 1, but this is the next procedure, and this is why I wet it, because when you do this dry, the holes won't stay. If you wet it, you pre-moisten this stuff, and you'll be able to run it through just like I'm doing, and they hold the holes. So run through the whole amount of 6-packs that you're gonna plant, and put 2 holes in each one. So some people use popsicle sticks. I just cut out little pieces of cardboard. And when you use the popsicle sticks, because you're continually watering throughout the early season, the wood sucks up the water, and it will, and it makes the writing illegible, like it gets it all blurry. So you can do it with popsicle sticks, or you can do it with these. I just take the some Scotch tape and put it around the top and write on the tape whatever the variety is. And these are going to be your markers. You have to do that because you're going to forget what you planted 6 weeks from now. You can't write it on the edge because I don't care if it's indelible ink or not, the water will wash that off. It will come off. So make your little markers and you'll be good. All right, so you choose your variety of seeds. In this flat, the whole thing's called a flat. I'm going to plant 4 separate varieties. So I'm going to have 18 in each section of 3. So 18, 36, and so forth. So anyway, get your seeds. Now these are the ones on the my video that I put out, saving seeds from raw tomatoes that you grew in your garden. This works with any vegetable that, for the most part, that works with seeds. I showed how to do it in that video. Here's the seeds. And so you just want to open it. I just put a little piece of tape there to close that up. It's just a plain white envelope, and it keeps it just as good as any other professional. And like I said in the last video, I planted them 5 and 6 years. So get a bunch of seeds. Don't drop the seeds where you don't want them to go because you'll have the plants mixed up. And basically, see, now look at that. It doesn't look any different than anything you paid $4 for in a packet at the store. These are way better because they're 100% natural. You did it yourself. Not that I care about that, but there's no chemicals on it. But you can choose any variety you want, and it's once you get the concept. Now we go for each one, the little 2 holes in each one. I'll put 1 or 2 seeds in each hole, and that betters your chance. They're all going to come up if you do it right. So you move on down the line. Don't get any seeds where you want them to go, where you don't want them to go. Make sure you get them in every little pack, because now each one of these is a plant. And just move on down the line. So now this row is done. This whole 3 6-packs is done. Next step is I just tuck them in. It's relatively tedious, but take your time and go with it, and just make sure they're covered. That's all you do. So you just push them in. Make sure there's contact with the soil. You don't want to go too deep either. They'll take too long to come up. Sometimes they won't come up if you go way too deep. If you just do it the old Yankee rule of thumb, for the most part, whatever kind of seed you got, put it in the ground 2.5 times as large as the seed is. So if the seed, just put it in the ground, so 3 seeds will go to the top of the hole, if you understand what I'm saying. And just roll on down the line, and we'll do each variety for each one. We'll move on to the next step. All right, so this whole row is done. You just firm it in gently. Don't mash it down there, but just make the soil have contact with the seed so it gets water once you continually water it. And now take your little tag, and I just stick it in there. Do it now so you don't forget what you planted. As you finish each row, put your tag in, and that way you won't forget what you done planted. And as you progress through each variety, so I'm done with these seeds, I'm good. Just get a piece of tape, and it's just a regular envelope, like I said, and you want to make sure this is sealed really good, like that. That's all you do, right? Oops, sorry. You put your tape along the edge, and then I just trim with scissors. There it is. And then now that's resealed. And 6 years, easy. I've used them 6 years. And that's it. And it's just a white envelope, but moisture, humidity, and even though it's in a dark closet, they're stored perfectly in these. It's just a regular envelope. You don't need any special kind of, that's all you need is an envelope. And seal it up at the end like that. And we're getting near the end here. It's kind of a rhythm to it, you know. Use both hands and just make sure they get in the soil. That's all. It's not rocket science. And this is called sowing seeds. There's a few other techniques. Some guys gardeners will just leave everything dry and then bring it almost up to the top. Then they'll just sprinkle their seeds and put another layer of vermiculite. But you lose a lot of seeds that way. This way, precisely, I know where each one is, and it's it gets good contact so the seeds can sprout really quick. And there it is. We're completed this step, and we're going to move on to the next step. They're all planted. Now this technique works with anything you want to bring indoors. Usually your summer crops, you start early this way. After our traditional planting date, which is Memorial Day, the last day of May and the first day of June, that's when we plant our summer stuff, because our chance of frost has passed. Theoretically, I've seen us get frost a week or two after, but it's very rare. These type of plants, the summer crops, cannot stand one frost. If they get one frost, that's it. They'll all die, and you've lost that. You have to come up with some other seedlings somehow. But cold weather crops such as the root crops, carrots and cabbage, they can be planted as soon as you can work the soil. Like right now, when the soil thaws out, you can plant that stuff. But these summer things, we start them in flats. Plus, these are long. These take a while. These need a long part of the growing season, tomatoes and stuff. So this is traditionally in New England. When I start mine, it's middle of March, St. Patrick's Day, around in that area. And also now the same exact technique can be used with your peppers, sweet peppers, hot peppers, habaneros, ghost peppers, the California Wonder, all those wonderful peppers, eggplants. Do it the same exact way as this. Just same technique as this. You can use it. And now we'll move on to the next step. And next step is move them into the sink. Take them out of the holding tray and put them in the sink. And one last watering. I like to use warm water here and very tentatively, gently water them. You don't want to disturb the seeds that are not buried that deep inside, but they're in the sink so that they'll drain. And that's it. Just gently, gently water. Give them a little, that's all you got to kind of do. And that settles everything for the most part. And leave them there for a few minutes, let them drain. All right, so your seeds are planted. Your seeds are sown, the tomato seeds. And this is my whole 2023 tomato section of my garden. I have 4 varieties. Now this next step, it's very interesting and somewhat crucial. They sell what's called heat mats. What makes these seeds pop up really fast is generally heat. You want to fool the plants into thinking that it's a June day and the soil is very warm. If you can get the soil very warm, I guarantee you my seeds are going to germinate in 1 week. 2 absolutely max. And when you do the heat thing. So I'm up in the Rat Cave attic. I'm up in my attic here. And this is my heating system. And this is just exactly the right temperature. It's easily warm enough so I can stick my hand on, even when the heat comes on, and that heat transfers up into here. You can either buy heat mats, and they fit underneath here, and you plug them in, and that raises the temperature. To be honest with you, you don't need the heat mats, but you don't need the sun at this point. Unless you can stick them in the south side of your window, the south side of your house in your window, and generally the sun will warm them that way. They will come up, but they come up relatively sporadically and not completely and almost perfectly when using this technique. When you apply heat on the bottom like that, like I'm improvising and using my heater, I promise you in a week, at max 2, every one of these will pop up, and I'll show them to you. I'll do the next video. We'll give you the final step in raising these tomato plants before you plant them in your garden. And so you get at this point, like I said, sunlight is not crucial. I'm just warming this consistently at temperature to make the seeds germinate a lot quicker. Every one of these seeds will germinate. So you put your lid on. This holds the moisture in. That's all it really does. Like I say, you don't really need... it's hard doing this with one hand while filming. So, and that's it. And I generally will get bungee cords, and I'll put them around it just to hold the moisture in, because it's dry up here this time of year, early spring, late winter. And but in 1 week, we'll make the next 1 or 2 weeks when these sprout. We'll show you the next short video. It's not a lot to go after that between now and playing in the garden, except you're waiting and letting them grow. But that's it. That's how you start seeds. Works with anything. I just can't believe that out of that little teeny seed, you are going to get buckets and buckets of the best tomatoes you've ever got in your life. And God does it, you know, and that's what fascinates me about gardening, and that's why I like to do it. So I hope you like this instructive video on how to raise tomato plants from the very get-go. Take them from any tomato that you want, save them, and you can plant them in the spring, and you'll see. I'll show you. This is Saturday Mornings Outdoors. My name is Paul K. Please like and subscribe. And thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. There, now that's going to sit. See the bungee cords, and that holds it pretty much airtight. The moisture is going to rise as it tries to evaporate. It can't escape. And it's a little greenhouse. Works awesome. And it works every year. And every one of these will germinate.